Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and today we're at Boutique talking with one of America's best authors, the one and only Nelson Demille, and I'm grilling him on whether he's delivering another number one with his John Cory character in Radiant Angel. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. Long time no see, Nelson Demille. So what do you think? Another number one in your agenda coming up, or what?
Yeah, well, you can kind of tell. You get the early results from Amazon.com and BookSense, and it's headed for number one. There's only like one person that may be number one when I come out. So we'll see. You always cross your fingers. I mean, other authors should have the same problem, right?
You might have to send John Cory after this person and do what he does in order to clear the space for
Right,
you.
we thought about that. I'll plug that book. It's called The Girl on the Train, and as I said to somebody, I'm waiting for that damn girl to get off the train. So I can be number one. I think it's going to be clear for me for the week after next, which would be great.
Congrats, man. Radiant Angel, it's a follow-up, and it's this John Cory saga continues. When is this thing going to get made into an HBO or something mini-series?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not going to be feature film. We have 7 John Corys now. This is the 7th. And we're talking to Charlie Collier at HBO and Richard Plepler at HBO and Charlie Collier at AMC. And they're both interested. They love the character, and they think that this would translate well to this cable limited series. They call it. We say mini-series, 2-hour segments, and you can probably do a whole book in the 2-hour segment. 7 books, 14 episodes. So that's the season. So that'd be great.
So Nelson DeMille's the new True Detective coming is what I love. Congrats on the book, and I love the storyline behind this. Obviously, John Cory comes back, decides he wants a quiet job, and next thing you know, he's fighting the Russians. How does this all come about?
Yeah, and that's really how the book starts. The original title of the book, if anybody cares, was A Quiet End, because John Cory's job is called a quiet end in the business, and in the FBI and the intelligence business, but we changed the title to Radiant Angel for another reason, which I'll explain later. But yeah, he thinks he's at a quiet end, but he's not sure he wants this job, but because his wife, Kate Mayfield, who is a special agent for FBI, and her career is arcing up. And she's now a supervisory special agent. She's in Washington a lot with her boss, a male, and that's a little bit aggravating to John. And he's spending his days on surveillance. He's following diplomats from the UN mission, different countries, but mostly Russia. And the book opens up when Sunday morning, he's sitting outside in the car with a new partner named Tess Faraday. And they're just watching the Russian mission and waiting for somebody to come out. And sure enough, somebody comes out. And it looks like a routine surveillance, but of course, if it was a routine surveillance, there'd be no book, and there'd be a 3-page book. And the people who come out is a SVR colonel, who's, we would say KGB in the old days, and 2 other Russians that Cory doesn't recognize, and a driver. And they get in the car and they head out of Manhattan, and then they're outside their 25-mile limit. The Russians, this is true, not allowed more than 25 miles from Columbus Circle. But they go outside their limit, and they're heading east on Long Island. And he doesn't want to stop them. He wants to see where they go. This man's a detective. He's smart. And they wind up going out to the Hamptons, to a rich oligarch's house, a Russian oligarch, multi-billionaire. There was a $50 million house on the ocean in Gin Lane in Southampton. And where there's a party, a typical Russian party with lots of hostesses, champagne, women, the whole thing, and the skinny dipping in the pool.
Like
and
this guy.
Right, but John wants to get in there, so he poses as a caterer. When he sees a caterer truck, he and Tess Faraday jump into the caterer truck, put on white smocks, and now they're in the party. And I've got some great scenes that I enjoyed writing of this Russian party, and he's still not sure there's something going on, but he's got his instinct is that they're up to something. But the reader at this point doesn't know what they're up to. But as the story develops, we see. I don't know how much of the plot I want to give away, but
I was going to stop you.
Yeah, right.
There's going to be no point in buying the book at this point. So when you're coming up with all this stuff, obviously it's very relevant because of the tension between the U.S. and Russia right now.
Right.
Does that come into play in terms of when you're putting this together?
Sure, and that's why John Cory in the previous books his beat was Islamic terrorism. And that's what he did. He was in the Middle Eastern section of the Anti-Terrorist Task Force. Now he's at this quiet end job, but he doesn't think it's a quiet end because he knows that the Russians are up to something. He considers them a bigger potential threat than Islamic terrorism. And he's part of the motif of the book is that Americans are not paying attention. That the resurgent Russia and Putin, they're up to something. He doesn't know what. But on the world stage, we can see different things happening. But the thinking, in the State Department and other intelligence, State Department intelligence and other intelligence services is that they're not as big a threat as Islamic terrorism. But Cory knows better, of course.
So when you're writing all this stuff, do you pretty much know, hey, this is where I'm going to take John Cory's character? Or is each book a new animal?
No, each book is new. I mean, when you do a series, the character could get tired. We don't want him to get tired. He's got to do something different. And after I say 5 anti-Islamic terrorist books, and the last one was set in Yemen, the Panther, so we got him out of the country. But I wanted to just change the whole focus and forget Islamic terrorism. So he's kind of energized too, just the way the author was. And he says, "I like this job. I like following the Russians because they go to cool places and they go to bars and they go to topless places, and this is where he follows them into." But in this book, the threat, and I'll give a little bit more of it away. The threat is a nuclear threat. The Russians possess many suitcase nukes. They invented them, and these things are about the size of a suitcase, and they pack about 20 kilotons of atomic energy, about the same size as the Hiroshima bomb. And what the Russians are going to do is slip this suitcase nuke aboard a Saudi yacht to sail into Manhattan and to New York Harbor, near Lower Manhattan. The thing is going to detonate and wipe out Wall Street and deliver a crippling blow to America. So but you still got to read the book to see how this comes about. That's the plot, and Cory's kind of onto it. He's onto something, and so the last part of the book, there's this ticking clock with a nuclear device on board a Saudi yacht, ready to go off, and our boy saves America again.
I dig John Cory, man. I hope HBO or someone makes something out of this, because he's just a cool character, man.
It's typical of a lot of what's on TV now, which is good stuff. Cable TV has got some incredible stuff out there, and we used to always think feature film, but you can't. It's hard to make 7 books into a feature film.
You want to go the mini series route. It's easier to win an Emmy that way, anyway.
Less work for me too, and I don't know. It doesn't pay as well, but that's okay. It really opens the book. It was my writing up to a lot of people who normally might not read Nelson Demille. When I had General's Daughter came out with John Travolta about 14 years ago, I guess, it just opened up a whole new audience. But those were the days when feature films were big and millions of people saw it. It was a huge box office. But now it really is cable. There was nothing on TV in those days, but now people are turning to TV.
It is. You have, and we talk about this all the time, and I have the privilege of interviewing so many of these people. You have A-list actors fighting. Right. I mean, legitimately ready to go into Fight Club to try to get these roles on The True Detective and whatever else. It's incredible.
Right. The Cory character, we had interest from Aaron Eckhart, for one, who was in Thank You for Smoking. Alec Baldwin, who I know a little bit, loved one of the books. He loved Nightfall.
Fellow Long Island.
Fellow Long Island. That's how I meet him at the Hamptons once or twice a year. He was interested, and this man is A-list right from the get-go. Aaron Eckhart is not as well known, but he's good. And a few other people expressed interest. So but it's like everything else. If it's not on a stage, it's not. It's not on a page, it's not on a stage. And we just need somebody to develop at least a pilot or a good screenwriter who can integrate this and at the same time make it episodic. And that's always the challenge with the series.
Well, either way, man, hopefully it hits #1. So congratulations on another great book for you.